Today we're here making this Skype encounter because we are going to discuss um, the topic about this human disaster. In this activity, we're going to talk about the questions, we're going to socialize the questions and the answers, and we're going to share everyone's points of view. And my name is Gina Paola Enciso Doria. I belong to the program bachelor's degree in forest languages with emphasis in English at the UNAT University, um, and I live in Lorica, Córdoba.
Good afternoon. My name is Alba Cunha. I am from the Petulia Sucre. I am in semester 3. I am studying in a
Good afternoon. My name is Claudia Rondon. I'm 25 years old. I'm in third semester and I live in Valledupar, Cesar.
Hello, my name is Dailin Vidal. I live in Cartagena, India. I 30 semester.
first question. Could the United States Air Force have avoided this attack? I think that I could probably have avoided it if I had investigated a little more about Osama bin Laden down so they could have known about the danger it meant, but they let themselves be guided by appearances. What do you think?
Well, I think that they could have prevented the attacks. Yeah, they could. But there were so many factors in that on that day that didn't let them do it. For example, there was a lot of initial confusion. They were dealing with a lot of pressure. Um, there wasn't much time between the first call and the first crash. There were several more reports of hikings that day. I think there were many factors that didn't let them do it, but I think it was more about a fear in that day. They were they were not expecting that could happen. So I think that if they will be brave, that that wouldn't happen. That's what I think. I think that it was more like not being afraid and confront them, but they just got attacked and couldn't do what they people were expecting about the Air Force. So I think yes, they could, but they didn't because they were afraid and they didn't know what what they were going to see, what they're going to face, preventing that attack. So I think that yet yes, they could, but they didn't.
Okay, I think that the U.S. Air Force could have prevented the attack if they provide more security and being more willing to avoid any events. Besides, there were many airplanes. So the security of the computer level was at a lower level, and this made it easier for the enemy to compromise the computer networks of the Air Force system on September 11th. So that there were many factors to
Yeah.
avoid these attacks.
What do you think, Dailin? Dailin, what do you think? Could you please share with us?
For
What's your
me, it's either representative of the government of United States had previous knowledge of the attack and somehow didn't do things to prevent. In on the other hand, the Gondar, why the State Department used the visas to the kidnappers, and the local police also didn't verify the immigration status of the Islam people who performed spending days before the act of the building several times,
Okay,
is my
thanks.
opinion.
Thanks a lot, Dailin, for your
Thank
opinion.
you. Thank you. Okay, I can that we can continue with the second question.
Yeah.
The second question is, were the Twin Towers deliberately demolished by explosives? Okay, I think that the Twin Towers were deliberately demolished by explosives because many people gave their version and saw large clouds of black smoke over the Pentagon. So the smoke corresponds to an explosion. Besides, there was an inclination of the effect before the collapse, but the armor didn't have much outside of itself to cause a flexion of the external structure. However, explosives were used because the central structure collapsed first, and then the armor. It was noted that in the North Tower the antenna fell slightly before the upper section of the building, indicating that the central structure was destroyed first despite a demolition control. That is the only valid explanation for me for the collapse of the Twin Towers. I don't know, what do you think about it?
Yes, I agree with you, Claudia. I think the same. I think it was manipulated by someone who worked for the government, and I think it was something they did on purpose because there is not a clear explanation how the building explode in such a huge way. Even a plane couldn't do that, and and it was and it was really it's really frustrating for some people because they know that somehow it was all about an attack from the American government. So I think that there are a lot of reasons why the the twin towers deliberate demolished by explosives. World Trade Center controlled demolition theories contend that the collapse of the World Trade Center was not solely caused by the airline crash damage that occurred as a part of September 11 attacks and the resulting fire damage, but by explosives installed in the buildings in advance. Control and demolition theories make up a major component of 9/11 conspiracy theories.
Good.
For me, I agree by Claudia and Paola because the Twin Towers were destroyed by explosives for the reason that they could collapse in controlled manner and fall around the other buildings. It was thought that the numbers of the code below, according to the conspiracy theories, the Twin Towers were not deliberately demolished, but the government itself had point on explosives that caused controlled demolition.
Okay, thank you, Dailin, for your report. Alba, what do you think? Tell us.
Uh, I think that uh, according to conspiracy theories, the Twin Towers were not deliberately demolished, but the government itself would have detonated its conclusive that caused a controlled demolition.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Alba. Okay, we'll move on to the third question, which is were some people forewarned about the attacks? The 9/11 advanced knowledge conspiracies center on arguments that certain institutions or individuals had foreknowledge of the September 11 attack in the United States in 2001. Some of the primary concerns include whether the Bush administration or the United States Armed Force had awareness of the planned attacks methods, the precise volume that American agencies have regarding Al Qaeda activities inside United States, whether the put options placed on United Airlines and American Airlines, and other traits that indicate foreknowledge and why the identities of the traders have never been public. So I think that, of course, there were some people that know in advance about the attack, and I think they were also one of the reasons why the uh, American United States forces didn't prevent the attacks because all these things were planning, and there were people that know this in advance. And I think this is my point of view. I don't know what you think, girls. Would you please share your points of view? What do you think about this?
I agree with you, Gina. I consider that many people already had knowledge about it because there were many threats to the American state. But I think that the big mistake was that the state did nothing to avoid it. I think that the US Air Force had knowledge about it and they did nothing, nothing.
Yeah. And there are some proofs that show us that the President Bush in that time, uh, uh, parts of the group were working with them, and even individuals that worked in the government institutions know in advance about the attack.
Yes, besides, there were a lot of threats to this American state.
Yeah. And what do you think, Alba and Dairin, Sharas?
I think that more than nine foreign intelligence services once and attacked on the United States with sprains.
Yeah. Daily, what do you think?
For me, many people were not prepared for the attacking uh,
Why?
because because um, we're in the planet that they going for um, hmm, I don't know.
Okay,
I
okay,
travel, I
I
travel.
think that
don't
some
worry.
people knew. I think that some people knew, but not all the country. That's obviously.
Yeah, they were center people, certain people that know this in advance. But as
Of
you
course.
know, if you watch the whole video, they say that these people have never been show their identities because they can, and it's putting their lives in risk. So I think that all this was planned in advance, and there were people that knew, and all this was planned by the government.
Yes, I think that the principal people who knew about it was the president
Of course.
and the U.S. Air Force, of course.
Yeah. I agree with you, Claudia. Okay, let's move to the next question.
Yes, the fourth question is
Well, for question is the Pentagon was really high by a plane. For me, it is confused because I know that there was a plane that crashes against the 5 days. On the building, the Pentagon, on the other hand, they say in the was a missile and that the evidence is not enough to prove that it was a airplane. but this caused a fire and collapsing a Pentagon. And the impact caused the destruction of a large part of the building, and in this case, I feel for the recent collapse from the Pentagon. Is my opinion about
Okay,
question.
I think that um, this this attack, the supposed attack to the Pentagon, it was also made by the government because if we pay attention, if we're close to the time, to the hours, says that at 9:37 a.m. on 9/11, 51 minutes after the first plane hit the World Trade Center, the Pentagon was similarly attacked through dozens of witnesses. So a Boeing 757 hit the building, and conspiracy advocates insist there is evidence that a missile or a different type of plane smashed into the Pentagon. It was not something like huge. For example, it says that big plane and small holes. For a big plane, if that was a big plane that who attacked the the Pentagon, it wasn't like it didn't have the enough proofs that the Pentagon was really attacked, because the supposed airplane they attacked Pentagon, it was big, but the holes in all the building, it was really small, intact windows, which means, like, if a plane really crashed into the Pentagon, it didn't show what the accident was about, so it was all made. Also, Flight 77 debris conspiracy theorists insist that there was no breakage, and that the Pentagon in reality of a Boeing in 757 was never found. Claims Pentagon strike .com UK, which asked the question, what hit the Pentagon on 9/11 if that plane never were found? It was never exist because they never found the plane. So what they really hit the Pentagon? That's a really big question. So I don't know what you think, girls.
I think
Claudia,
that
Alba.
I think that according to conspiracy theories, it was not a plane that crashed into the Pentagon, but a missile, and that the evidence is not enough to prove that it was a plane.
I think that is a question so complex because okay, I think that yes, the Pentagon was hijacked by a ghost airplane, yes. But I saw in the second part of the video that that airplane was tracked 30 minutes before arriving Washington because the airplane first passed by Washington. So I think that the Pentagon, yes, was hit by a airplane. I don't know what do you think if you are agree with me.
Being honest, Claudia, with all these conspiracy theories, I don't know what to believe, because they show the world one part, but these videos and all this information there is on the internet tell us a different thing. So really, I don't know what to believe, but I'm pretty sure that was all planned.
In fact, the videos weren't sufficient for me. So
Yeah.
I searched in other parts, in other networks, and I found a lot of information that I don't know what to believe. So I'm confused in this activity because there are a lot of theories.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pass to the five question. Could the attacks have been prevented? Okay, I think that yes, because there must have been more precautionary measures from the moment the threat against the American government began. Besides, one day before the attack, the security of the computer level was at a lower level, and this made it easier for the enemy to compromise the computer networks of the Air Force and the system on September 11th. What do you think, Dina, about it?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Claudia. I think that all these attacks could have been prevented, but it was like if you just stop to thinking like what this happened, like what is the reason why this happened. It was like all the things were like in the right point, in the giving them what they wanted. They never show like they were really concerned of the Air Force, the police, there are a lot of factors that made us believe that all this was planned, and I think that all this could have been prevented on time. So I think it was a lot of failure in the American government, and I think that yes, this could have been prevented in advance.
I think this question goes hand in hand by with the first question
Yeah,
because I think that the Air Force had in its hands the control of this, or
yeah,
rather to avoid it. I think that they could to avoid it. So this question is hand in hand with the first question.
yeah. I agree with you, Claudia.
I I agree for Claudia and Gina because I could have been avoided if the government had not participated anything to do with the execution of the attack. Science studies were conducted is within January of that same year there was a request to the superiors of states to terrorists, but this was rejected.
Okay, I respect that. You disagree with our answer, but that is this encounter about socialize the questions and all this. So I think it's a really good point of view. I respect it, Dailin. Well, girls, let's move to the next questions. Do you think that was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed? What do you think, girls?
For me,
Okay,
For all,
this
for all.
is this is the most comprehensive, complex, relevant, and contradictory question of this
Yeah,
activity.
yeah,
God.
yes, yes,
But we
agree.
have to come to a conclusion.
yeah,
I don't know, but we have to get a conclusion.
yeah.
Because for me, I read, I see um Osama bin was not captured because uh, the military didn't not want to capture it. Uh, if him is didn't uh, he's dead.
He's not
And
dead.
yes, 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 that, pardon.
He's not dead.
Sorry, sorry.
No,
Is
don't
that
worry. Okay.
and yes,
I
that,
agree with you, Daily. I agree with you. Somehow, they it's like in an unexpected way, in an unexpected day, they they were all in all news around the world telling that Osama bin Laden was captured and killed,
Yes.
but they never show like real photographs about that. We were talking with Claudia, something like happened here in Colombia with Pablo Escobar, that Colombia government showed the world that Pablo Escobar was really dead and killed, and
Yes.
it was something that it was public to the world. But there are no like pictures, like real pictures. They could made um, a doll or something like, or it's easier to fake someone is dead there are in movies and in series, you can make someone dead, even if it's not dead. So I think it's easier to make someone believe someone is dead even if it's not. And I think that was something that happened here in this question. So we don't know exactly if he was really captured and killed. That is something that I always like. Is he really like he's really killed and he's really captured because there have been a lot of attacks um, to United States, to Paris, and we don't know who's the main boss in charge about those attacks. And if it's really killed, we don't know. It's something that is really, as Claudia said, it's complicated. It's really contradictory, and we don't know what to think about this. But I've been questioning this for a long time, and I say I don't know if he's dead or not, but I think there's still a lot of evil in the world, and that is something that it only can exist in one mind, one head, and it was in Osama bin Laden. So I don't know what you think, girl. What do you
I
think?
think that some hypotheses claim that Osama bin Laden was killed by the US military, but at no time was there any confrontation.
Okay, the truth is that only God knows. But I think that the American government has many secrets that are careful to be discovered. There is much behind the facade of the 9/11 attacks. But I think that the according to the global press, Osama bin Laden was captured and killed. Also, I have the doubt because there weren't images to prove that this occurred in such a way. It was an issue that should have more relevance. The news was simply word, but I think that was a lack of evidence to make society feel calmer and more confident that this action was came out.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, Claudia and Alba. I think that well, as Claudia said, I didn't only get the videos, like I didn't only watch the videos. I also search online and on Google, and I read something that some some of the soldiers that were in the mission to capture and kill Osama bin Laden, they're just like disappeared. They're uh, some of them are lost. Some of them just somehow die from a day to other. They just like disappear, evaporate. Like what happened with them? And why that happened to them? Because they were the people that supposedly go there and capture it and killed Osama bin Laden. So seriously, I don't know what to believe all this.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to move to the next questions, to the next question and final questions.
Yes.
Another
What?
contradictory question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. Yeah. And so, girls, do you think that was 9/11 caused by the American government on purpose?
I'm not sure to say whether the government did this on purpose or not, but I think it's not history to be. The duty of every government is to benefit its scientists. So I don't know what do you think, but that's my question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, in fact.
Well, I think that um, I think that this really was caused by the American government on purpose. Yes, because they were they wanted one really good reason to attack the Islam country, the people, because they got something that the United States really wants. It's like the pursuit. which is the oil. They got a lot of oil in the country, and they wanted like a really good reason to attack. But they weren't only attack; they were also stealing oil, and that is the war between Islamic people and American people because they got somehow they have uh, attacked them in a terrible way. I don't know if you read or if you watch that news when United States throw gases into Islamic with Islamic people, and there were a lot of deaths, and it was really tragic. And I don't know, but I think that all this was caused by the American government on purpose because they really wanted a good reason to attack them so they can take away from them the oil. I don't know. I don't know what to believe, but I really think that all this was really on purpose. Yes, I think. I don't know what you think, girl. That's my point of view.
I I based my answer in the videos, yes, but I searched in other pages and I found information that the American government caused it on purpose, but
Yeah,
I I didn't want to say that because I based my answer in the videos that the tutor show us.
yeah. Okay, girls, I think that this is all for today. We have shared our points of view. We have give the right answers for these questions. And I think this is all for today. I hope the tutor can understand um, our points of view and that we have the highest score in this activity.
Okay, it was great to share this video conference with
Yeah,
you. Was so practice. I don't know. It was
yeah.
good. It wasn't boring.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
it
really
wasn't boring.
entertaining. It
Yes,
was really
yes,
entertaining, and it
yes,
also helped us to improve our speaking skill. To not
yes,
be afraid to talk about something and just share points of view and share what we think and respect points of view and all this. And so I'm really thankful with you girls for being committed with this activity because there were a lot of people in the group, but only 4 people, including me, were really commitment with this activity, which was Claudia, Alba, Darlene, and me, Gina. So all this video was about sharing our points of view, and I hope you can understand tutor and you like what we did in this activity. Have a nice day, girls. It was a
yes.
pleasure. God bless
Thank
you and
you.
bye.
Bye.
Bye. God bless you.